Hey, welcome to 2023, everybody. Wow, we made it. We made it across the bridge, 2022, and now here we are on the other side. So, welcome to the reading. Mm, just before I turned the camera on, I went ahead and created sacred space for us. I called in the directions, and now I leave the rest to you. Get grounded, really call in your highest and wisest part of you so that it can be in alignment and so that you can really hear the message that comes through today. I'm really, really curious and excited about what's going to show up. This is a reading about 2023. This is like, you know, the beginning of 2023. So let's get a reading on the energy of this and our highest and best timeline. And yes, I am recording. Okay, good. For a second, I thought maybe I wasn't. So yeah, let's see what messages we get for this year. We'll just go from there. Let's just see what happens. Let's see how this all unfolds. So I'm also going to light us a little bit of which one today? Which one? Hmm, so many options, so many options. I think today calls for a bit of this incense, which is dragon's blood. Comes from a tree that I will have to research a bit more in depth to give you more knowing about it. But I do know that when I light this incense, it does a really good job of clearing out the old and bringing in the new. And so that's kind of what we're here to do, right? We're saying thank you to 2022 and bringing in 2023. So here we go. A little bit of dragon's blood for you. Ah, that feels good. Okay, let's turn that incense off so we don't completely get engulfed in smoke here. All right. So the first cards that I'm gonna blah, 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 words, hi, pull from are the wild unknown archetypes. Oh my gosh, I love these. So let's go ahead and get an archetype for this year. And a couple fell out. There was one actually that I was like, ooh, was that our card? It was the Queen. I love that. So let's just hold that in our heart that the Queen popped out to say hello for a second. Cool, huh? All right, but let's go ahead and finish the question, the intention of pulling the card of just the theme, the archetype of our highest and best timeline for 2023. Ooh, ooh, oh, that's so cool. This is so cool. Wow. The shaman. Whoa, guys. You guys are a powerful bunch. But then, of course, you're here, right? So, yeah, of course, you're a powerful bunch. Of course, we'd pull the shaman together. Wow. And, I definitely invite um, your participation in this. This is not just me here spouting off things. This is an interactive experience. So take a look at this card. What do you see in this card, the shaman? It's a powerful card. Right off the bat, I see a diamond, a hand, a snake, three skulls. And what is this? Perhaps gem, another gem. When I look at it, I personally see amber. What do you see? And then here I see a seed, but I also actually see a lute. I see a song being played by these three ancestor spirits riding on the back of the snake. And there is actually the snake Hydra in the sky. And on the back of the snake, riding on that constellation, are a few different things. One of them is an owl, the other is a crow, and the third is a chalice. And those are riding on the back of the snake Hydra in the sky, in the constellation. And I feel like that is ancestral spirits. And then here, right here, with this, I interpret it as a lute. But when I look at this really closely, it almost looks like a seed, but maybe it's the seed of a song of our ancestors. And I also see this hand reaching out, this very human hand reaching across time, across the veil, across this night sky. Wow. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read the shaman. Let's see what that has to say in this beautiful book. Oh my goodness. I almost feel like I need to pause to navigate the finding the book, finding the page. Anyway, it came out really quickly. So the shaman, the magi, the sorcerer, the medicine woman. Three archetypal ingredients constitute the shaman, and all must be present in order to reveal its magic. First, the shaman is activated by long-standing and diligent study, the mentor. Second, its orientation is generously and accurately aimed toward the healing of the self, the other, and the culture. And so we have the healer. And third, the shaman has a knack for finding doorways to the other world, allowing psychic visions and old magic to leak into this world. And so we have the unseen, the mentor, the healer, the unseen. In this way, the shaman is the master who bridges the everyday and the sacred, revealing potent power needed desperately in our time. Yet where there is power, there is shadow. So the shaman might be vigilant in studying their own personal darkness or the darkness around. This card reminds us that the force of healing is ultimately not just our own. We must shape it and then share it with the world. So when this card is in the light, it is the fearless student and the practitioner of the healing arts. When it is in the dark, it overpromises, it blames, it hurts itself and others. And to go deeper, she's recommending different books, which I haven't gone so far, I think, to share these. But to go deeper, she talks about Black Elk Speaks, and then Michael Turner's Dreaming with the Eyes Open. So those are two books to explore. So yeah, and so working with this archetype, it requires patience and allowing the unfolding of things that we don't know right away. It takes time to see them. And I think that's why it's in the dark. And the snake, always shedding its skin and renewing itself, that the shaman is a renewer of itself. It's an old soul, and it constantly regenerates and is new again and again and again, which requires, like birth and death. And this diamond of going through the hardships and the pressure, the different things that actually led the way to this being a diamond. Like if you think of the path of a diamond, it's a crazy one, huh? First it needed to be in deep pressure and like a pressure cooker in the earth, and uh solidify its knowing in the dark. And then when it comes up to the surface, where then it meets more unknowable adventures. Like, who found this diamond? How did it come to be in this human's hands? And then more layers of shedding as it starts to gain facets. So, a diamond has gone through many, many evolutions of itself to become what it is, just as the snake. And everything led through that song of our past selves, all the different layers of ourself, which is also all the different layers of our lineage, moving back and forward in time. So the shaman is the theme of this year, at least according to this reading. So, and I encourage all of you to do your own reading to get your own personal message for 2023. So let's go ahead and pull from the Starseed Oracle. And let's get a little bit more information on this theme that we are exploring together of our highest and best timeline of 2023. Well, there it is. We got, how many cards was that? 3 cards. Cards. So here we go. We have the Great Severing, and that says Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. And right away, I interpret that as things that have let go, things that we are letting go, but it's not always such a quick and easy process. That there's some healing involved of, what it is that you let go in 2022 so that you can actually come back into balance 2023. So the Great Severing, we are right there in the cusp. It's only the second day of the year. And so we're just right there in that cuspy space of having let go and then bringing in the new. And then the next card that we get is the Empathic Starseed. And that one says energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. Ooh. Oh, interesting. All right. Let's keep going with this. Earthed. Wow. Earthed. Learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. Wow. Okay. This is a really powerful set of cards. So what I am getting from this is that we have let go of things that actually were not ours, not us, in the sense that they aren't things that we need to carry forward into the year. And I'll tell you a quick little thing that it was maybe the night or 2 nights before New Year, and I woke from this kind of half dream, and I had a sharp pain where I have, sciatic stuff that happens, and it's been happening for the past 8 years or so. And I had finally an epiphany around that sciatic pain. And it turned out that it was in my mind's imagination, in that liminal dream space, it was a shard of glass. And this shard of glass was right there in that sciatic nerve. And shamanically, I envisioned myself reaching in and pulling that piece of glass effortlessly right out of that pinched place that had been hurting my nerve for so long. And it turned out that it was something that I had absorbed that wasn't mine at all. That wasn't my personal story. Of course, in my mind, the pain was looped around a story. I pulled in that shard because it had some piece that was resonant. It was in harmony with this shard of symbolic glass. And so in a way, it's like my brain in started interacting with it in a story of like, oh yeah, this happened. And so that's why I have this pain. But it turned out that it's like that pain was not actually the origin of the pain was not actually my story. And so when I pulled it out, I recognized that first of all, who it belonged to, and that I needed to give it back. And so I gave it back. And I did this in a way that was kind and gentle, and I rounded the edges, and it turned into a piece of sea glass, this beautiful iridescent blue-green sea glass that was beautiful. And I offered it back to the source of the initial like reason why I got it. And all of this, of course, being very shamanic in nature, you don't always have all the linear facts lined up of like the who, the why, the where, the what. It's just what happens. So maybe you take a look at these different pieces and you are a very like empathic, energetic star seed. And I'm sure that there have been times that you have absorbed something that actually wasn't yours at all. But because you have lived through something that brought it in, then it becomes your story. And then you kind of, I don't know, stretch the lines to accept whatever it is that's not yours, right? And then, so how can you start to give that back? The great severing. How do you start to cut those cords and give them back? Like, I see this woman actually looking through a mirror, and she's looking like through and past this mirror. So it's like these different pieces that we have absorbed, they mirror things that are actually resonant for us. And so then we get this other card called Earthed. And earthed, I feel, is us really grounding that energy. Give it back to the earth, the great composter, alchemist, the original shaman. The earth is the original shaman, priestess, sorceress. Give it back to her, offer it back. And offer it like, in the way that this shard of glass that, offer it, soften it, these in this it even says softening to love. So it's like take whatever that is and soften it, mold it, shape it, be a creator with it, and then give it back to the earth and surrender it up. Really give it to her without any attachment or needing to know how, what, where, who, any of those questions. Just really surrender to her greater knowing and give it back because she knows exactly where it goes. She knows exactly what to do with it and will really give it its proper place where, that shard of glass did not serve me. It was giving me pain for 8 years, longer than that, maybe. I have lost track. And now that I've pulled it out and offered it back, I can still remember. And this is also really good, this whole idea of just living in the present moment. And that is all well and good. But we also need to look to the past, to the future. And like these stories are actually quite important to who we are and who we become. And so that piece of glass was important because it taught me in a very literal way what happens when I absorb something that's not mine. And then also in some weird way, like came to find a way to release it, which it was a total surprise to me. So, but yeah, that was great. And it's, 4 days of my sciatic not hurting. It's pretty phenomenal. So, what kind of pain is in there that you can actually start to transform and give back. So, wow, huh? I love that. Okay. I knew that these cards were going to come into play because shaman, that shaman energy, loves to work between the worlds. And the between the world spirits are the fairies. And so I just kind of already knew that they were gonna, I had that little nudge that the heart of fairy was going to come out today. So let's see. The fairy card, the fairy being, presence, energy archetype that will help us with this. That will help us with, oh, interesting. Some of these cards are actually flipped around the other way for some reason. I will tell you who they are real quick. The Queen of Laughter and the Rocks. I love them. The Queen of Laughter and the Rocks. They were just flipped the other way in this deck that I'm always careful not to have my cards get all jumbled up and weird like that. So, I'm just gonna say those are our cards, pretty obviously. And that was a very magical, tricksterish way to do that. I'm gonna quickly see if there's any other cards in the deck that just happen to be flipped over. How weird. I don't know how that happened. So, nope, those are the only two. So I'm gonna say those are our two cards. Cool, huh? I love the way the fairies work. Okay, where do I put this? Where do I put these? Amassing more and more cards as we go. All right. The Queen of Laughter. Wow. What an incredible fairy to help us do the work. The Queen of Laughter. If you think of a time when you have really laughed, like a gut laugh, that it shakes your body, right? You're like, it releases energy. And a good laugh is, it's like a supernova that like moves through your body. It's just so fun when that happens. The Queen of Laughter, and she just has a good time and she knows, look at her with her frog legs. And frogs being, the masters of reincarnation every single year. There's this thing where they seem to go dormant in the winter and come back to life. And the ancients really saw this as the master of reemerging from the dark, from the depths, from the dead. So the Queen of Laughter coming in with her frog legs of rejuvenation, uh, man, she knows how to see the humor of it all. She knows how to move through things with wit and not taking it too seriously. She's saying, don't take this too seriously. Like let's just have some fun. Have some freaking fun. Come out into the forest and play with me, you know? She's also inviting any of you guys just do a little shroomy trip. Like seriously, she's actually encouraging that. So if anybody out there does medicine journeys, she's inviting a medicine journey. So, and invite her literally in. So, yeah, and the shaman card works with all the different medicines. These are everything from stone to mineral to and all everything in between. The shaman works with the medicine energy of the earth and the cosmic surround the cosmic energy as well. So it doesn't surprise me at all that literal medicine journey would come into this reading, and doing it with a state of letting go of control, because Queen of Laughter, you lose control in the best way when you're having that like soul roaring laugh. So, and then nine, it's that completion energy. It's the end. Yeah. Who has the last laugh? That just popped into my head. Okay. I will read this, but let's go ahead and take a peek at the other card too. The rocks. I honestly have no idea who is the rocks. Interesting. The rocks looks like a melting king, a melting lion king. Hmm. Is this kind of a griffin? A fish griffin? So hard to tell what I'm looking at. I invite you to, also take a peek at this and use your shaman eyes. And I know some people out there do have reservations around the word shaman, and I really am using this as an archetypal word. But to use your seer edge walker eyes, if the word shaman has some kind of charge for you, I also invite you to look that square in the eye and see what comes up for you when you say that word and try that word on. Uh, do you feel like maybe you don't deserve that word or you're not worthy of that word or it wasn't given to you? So I invite you to reclaim that archetype because you wouldn't be in this reading, you wouldn't be hearing this reading if this card wasn't you. So just think about that. Okay. The rocks. Let's read this one first because we kind of have an idea of the Queen of Laughter. She's kind of an obvious one. But rocks is an interesting one I don't know much about. So the rocks. Manipulation, neediness, and make an effort. Okay. The poor rocks is always ill. Sniffles, aches, and pains, a slight temperature. He just can't gather the energy to help himself, but he always has enough energy to get you to help him. He is, after all, the king of being the king, and being a king means having servants. Not that he wouldn't help himself if only he felt up to it, but in the meantime, just be a dear and fix him a little something to eat, preferably something expensive and time consuming. He's a character, isn't he? Wow. Okay. But it's just the thing to make him feel better. And you do want him to feel better, don't you? And he's just okay, this energy is making me laugh. No wonder we've got her hanging out with this guy because you just have to laugh at him. I'm sorry. Sorry, the rocks. We're gonna just laugh at you a little bit. Okay. So and would you go out and pick up his dry cleaning too? He would do it himself, but he's just not feeling up to it. And besides, it's too cold to risk going out. And you remember the last time that happened, don't you? I guess he got sick. But you'll be fine. A brisk walk is just the thing you need. Do you know someone like this? This person is a master of manipulation, even if they don't know it. He can get you to do anything for him because he uses guilt as a finely honed tool. It's very difficult to say no to someone as needy as this person appears to be. But every once in a while, try saying, wait, the energy in trying to read sometimes is that it's an interesting dance. Okay. Let's see. Where was I? It's very difficult to say no to someone as needy as this person appears to be, but every once in a while, try saying that you just can't do whatever it is that he's asking of you. This may come as a shock to Rox. He isn't used to being denied anything, but it will begin to restore the balance in your relationship. If you recognize yourself in the rocks, think about the reasons you ask people to do things for you that you are perfectly capable of doing. It is the desire to control. Is it the desire to control a person or a situation, or do you really need help? Combine the rocks with the speaker of truth to find the answer for yourself. Mm, wow. Okay, that's so interesting because all of this energy and like the story of the shard and now the rocks coming in and those times honestly when you do feel like the rocks or somebody who feels like the rocks and really having a sense of humor around this character, whether it live in you or in those around you. And then also starting to do the work, the great severing, the rebalancing, because he pulls this energy of the rocks, pulls on your empathetic starseed healer nature of wanting to help, wanting to be of service, and knowing that you can help because you're so capable. Or, those times when you don't feel like you can do it alone, and you don't have to do it alone. Like, that's not what this energy is talking about. You don't have to do it alone. I think that's why it came hand in hand with the Queen of Laughter, because she also looks at this, which could be, sometimes we are in a space that we do legitimately need others to help us get through. But we also need to see if we've gone past the balance point and now we're milking it. So really take a look at this energy. And I like that it invited in the speaker of truth. That card was invited into this reading by way of the book. And the speaker of truth giving us, I feel like that's also embedded in this energy, the shaman, of taking a look um, with eyes that are clear and are willing to see this energy of the rocks. So, wow, guys, that's some powerful energy. So since those two cards were just they were there and they were just there. Yeah, it no doubt the fairies are here to they're here to help. I feel like they're actually here to help us when we get into that rocks energy. And it is okay to call on the fairy and they will laugh at you. They will. They Fairy energy, there's a reason that the Queen of Laughter came in because they look at us and they just kind of think, "Oh gosh, you have it so good. Quit being such a petty little human." And, but we are also, you got to have empathy for your own self that it is also freaking hard to be a human. And the fairies don't have to pay bills and make dinner every single day. Yeah, they just don't have the responsibilities that we push onto ourselves. So, yeah, so coming back into balance a little bit. So you gotta love the fairies. I love them. Oh, by the way, the shaman with the seeing the doorways and finding portals to the other world. Take a look around your neighborhood if you see any fairy doors. And I'm being really clear and honest with you. I do have a fairy door. I will post a picture of it in that like community thing that YouTube has. I do have a fairy door that is on the land that I live on, and I just love that it's there. And so there are times that I'm inspired to leave little offerings or decorate the door when I have time. And usually it's on walks with my dog. And I absolutely love it. When I leave an offering, I also just like knock on the door to make sure it's here, guys. Enjoy your offering and just say hello. You have fairies in your neighborhood. Fairies are intrinsic to the land. They live on every single part of the land. And, some places they have been pushed out. So just welcome them back in and find the fairy doors on the land that you live on and give offerings. Meet them in the in between spaces. Allow them to come in and play because they are helping to heal the land. They are helping to heal the parts of us and the land that are sick. And they really do want to do this. And I'm just really feeling this really, really strongly that they do have a bit of trickster energy, but it is for the best. It is for the highest and the best. And so, really, just talk to them, invite them, play with them, enjoy their company, even just really like if you have a yard, find the fairy door. It'll be there. I guarantee you'll have one. And I can't wait to see what fairy doors you have. Okay, so we have two animal totems coming in. One of them, I love this, the deer. And the deer invite us to follow our heart and follow the deer trails. They have the paths, and all of their paths lead to something exquisite. If you follow the deer trails, it will lead you to waterfalls and creeks and little places where there's an abundance of yummy food for the deer. But these are usually places where the fairies are wild and free and come and go. The deer lead us to portals of energy. And so, really allowing that deer energy to come in this year, open those portals. I'm really encouraging you to open portals to the other side. Do it with love and light. Inviting in just what's highest and best for all of us. This is something you do with absolute intent. Don't just open things willy-nilly, because you never know what you're gonna get. So really just do it with your guardian angel by your side. And do it with the deer totem because they know exactly where to go and what to do. And that will open places for the earth to heal and to take our glass shards, and we can give them to her in the ways that she can absorb them. The second one that we've got is the woodpecker. And again, these two walking the trail of the heart, walking to the beat of the heart is the woodpecker. So, wow, this reading a lot now with the animals, it is about getting back into balance with our own heartbeat, really listening to your own heartbeat and allowing it to also, open that portal of your heartbeat, open the portal of your heart. And yeah, and allow that wisdom to come through. Oh man, I love the woodpecker. If you've got woodpeckers around, it's so beautiful to hear them. They're city dwellers as well. They peck on what are those? Electrical poles, and yeah, they find their way. I had a woodpecker actually that was it was not the best place for it to be pecking, but it was pecking up on top of uh the roof. So be careful of where you put the hole. Yeah. Yeah. I think maybe we'll read those two as well. All right. Oh, and it's starting to rain. I love that sound. The rain is coming down. Feels good. I'm going to send love to anybody that is experiencing too much rain and that it come back into balance. Pleated woodpecker. The yeah, pleated. I don't know. Okay, woodpecker drums with abandon. He'll tap on trees, rain gutters, garbage cans. His noise is the gift from the thunder gods themselves. Can you give yourself over to this type of passion? Can you dance the primal rhythm that calls the rain? Our critical minds often get in the way of our creativity and joy. The big part of your brain's job is to keep you safe, and giving in to passion can be dangerous. But Woodpecker has a secret. He wraps his tongue around his brain to protect it from concussive rhythm. Interesting. Wow, I'm going to have to research that. I never thought about just how, can you imagine if you had a beak and you're like banging your head against solid wood? Think about you giving yourself a concussion. I never thought about that. So it wraps its tongue around its brain. That will require some further research on my part. So, wow, that's fascinating. Okay, so he wraps his tongue around his brain to protect it from his concussive rhythm. Woodpecker is calling you to get in sync, to move and dance and drum. Can you free your inner fire? And I'm even thinking about that imagery, that very vivid imagery of like pulling your tongue back and wrapping it around your brain. So, your tongue is the sense part of your mouth, and without it, we can't quite articulate our expression. So, it is a tool of articulation, and that coming up and holding your your thoughts. So I kind of see that in a way as being very deliberate with the thoughts that are articulated. So be careful with your words. Yeah, think about what words you say and that you are repeating to yourself over and over again. And are they in rhythm with your heartbeat? Are you saying these things that, yeah, they're just words have so much power. Words are power. So, wow. I love doing readings. These are so much fun. Hmm. Taking a little break kind of revived that for me of remembering just how fun doing this is with you guys. So, I appreciate you all so much for hanging out with me and doing these readings together because we're doing them together. I love it. So here's the white-tailed deer, and it says, "Step delicately and truly," deer advises. "Trust your intention, intuition, and your ability to move decisively. The first step in taking decisive action is to pause and get the lay of the land. Never one for snap decisions, deer freezes, feeling into each situation, reaching out with all her senses, and then steps gracefully and surely into whatever's next. She'll gift you with self-confidence, especially as you move through life's cyclical changes, those times when one season of your life is ending and another is about to begin. Trust Deer's medicine to help you make a definitive decision and then step into it with grace." Oh, I love that message. And that works so synergistically. I like that word, synergistically, with the woodpecker. So woodpecker taking action and really calling out, like it is extremely vocal about its intentions, isn't it? Maybe not vocal, but you know what I'm saying, like sonically. And then you've got the deer who is deliberate and waits and thinks and feels out the very best step. So moving, I kind of see this as like, moving, stop, thinking, feeling, and then moving, you know? Yeah, it's like the wheels of the bicycle turning. I really like that. Okay, and let's also get a crystal. Crystal, crystal, where are you? Here you go. No, that's animal again. Okay, so here we go. Let's get a crystal for for, oh, here you are. Oh, we get this card again. This came up in one of our readings before. Howlite, white howlite. Interesting. So let's go ahead and take a peek at that. I'm trying to remember what that was. White howlite. Look at that. Okay. Soft is not a word usually used to describe a stone, but it suits howlite just right. Shh, she whispers to your monkey mind. Come back to center, sit in stillness. It's not that Howlite wants you to curl back up into bed with a cup of chamomile tea and call your day done before it's even begun. Quite the opposite. Howlite knows that your projects and adventures, your conversations and relationships will slide into flow and synchronicity when you yourself are unruffled. You are the foundation. Come from your center, undistracted by excess aggravation and random irritations. This is where your power lies. This is a still point within you, Howlite advises. Allow yourself to sink into it. Ooh, I like that message. So Howlite is such a powerful stone to get you back into your center still point. And that is where the deer freezes. The deer in the headlights, it stops. It takes a moment. It sits in the center of stillness before it jumps into how to act. So Howlite being your crystal guide. And this is our 2023 reading. So I would encourage, at some point, maybe even midpoint during the year, take a look at this. Maybe you forgot about Howlite. Maybe even getting a little piece this year so that, using that, the energy of crystals is so profound. Having a little piece of Howlite, and just imbuing it with the intention of help me get back to my center, to my still point. And, when your feathers are ruffled, because they will get ruffled this year. Of course, there's no year that your feathers have not gotten ruffled. And so having that will create kind of the inertia that it takes to remember to get to your still point more often. So yeah, there's that. I'm definitely going to find my Howlite. The last reading that I did, I was like, oh, I should go get my Howlite and start using it. And then I promptly forgot. So this is a reminder to me as well. I feel like all of these readings, they're for you, they're for me. We're continuing to learn, we're continuing to grow. And yeah, absolutely no different for either of us. So we're all kind of doing this together. And ultimately, we're teaching each other just by showing up and doing these different things together. So however which way your woodpecker shows up, the way in which you express yourself, that's something so important and essential for everyone around you in your neighborhood, in your your community, and in your culture. Like we'll just ripples out and out and out and out. So I think that's a beautiful reading to just kind of maybe boil it down, start to get into your powerful magi self this year and really think about how powerful your words are, how powerful your actions are when they come from that point of stillness and your heart's knowing. And again, we're continuing to do this big work. I feel like, of course, this year, as always, it's a continuation of everything that we've already lived. So it's a continuation of releasing everything that is ready to be released. And doing that because, you have been sensitive to it. You can see it playing out in your reality somehow, offering it to the earth, that beautiful shaman of the earth, offer it to your ancestors, offer it to your guides, offer it to your higher self, offer it, just offer it. And releasing that part of you and of everything around you that is stuck in that almost it feels good to be ill kind of thing, where it's like, oh, I'm sick, so now I don't have to do the certain thing I didn't want to do, and finding that peace that is, I mean, I kind of want to say kind of like the mooch, and releasing that, recognizing that yes, you are absolutely I don't want to use the word entitled with this card because I feel like it's already an entitled energy, but that you deserve help. Absolutely. But then also recognize um when you're actually doing it out of like self-pity or something, and stepping up and doing the work for yourself because it's empowering, finding the balance of empowered help versus codependent help. So the rocks, and then the queen of laughter coming in to just, break up the seriousness of it all, laugh with her, play with her, enjoy her company. Let the fairies come in and play. So walking the deer trails, listening to the woodpecker, and perhaps get a little piece of howlite for yourself this year to come back into stillness, come back into your strength, your strong point. Your still point is where the clearest and best decisions can be made. So I hope you have a beautiful 2023. This is the very, very, very beginning of it. So, and I can't wait to just be with you more throughout the year, and we'll see what this year unfolds. I have no idea. So, yeah, no announcements for today, but along the line of 2023, there will be. And I can't wait to find out what those are. So, yeah, I guess I will see you in the next reading. Many, many blessings. And how do I stop my recording? There it is. Bye.